Welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. Hey, it's been a while. You see why that lady's peeking out from behind that scales of justice? Listen, everything the government does, in theory, by the Constitution, should be with not knowing what you look like, what you're worth, what your religious background or anything like that, what your sex is, what your sexual orientation is. It should be on the law and the facts of the law and the issues. But we've come to that crossroads in America where people can't deal with the truth. They just can't do it. It's September 13th, 2 days after September 11th. If you know about my background, you know that September 11th is pretty sacred to me because as a first time in my adult life, I wondered what would happen to America for just a little while. I had questioned that we could fall. And any democracy can fall by failure to preserve it. And to the republic for which we stand. And if we don't stand, nobody will. Look what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, I wasn't a close follower of Kirk. I watch him sometimes. But he was a leader for the youth about being able to talk about the truth and face it. Because anybody, and he didn't need a script. And I respect that because I don't need one either. You shouldn't need a script if you're telling the truth. You don't have to write down what you're not planning to lie about. And in the world of civil discourse, if we can't count on the government and our legal system to settle it, well, we should just go back to the old West and draw guns. Because this course is going to happen. People are different. And the system, the laws, the ordinance, the courts, the boards all have to operate without peeking from under the blindfold, so to speak. So I haven't joined you for a while. Tried to cooperate with some people, but I realized this week, I realized this week that we got a problem. And Charlie Kirk's just an example of it. Our government and people in our government have empowered people to believe that they can do whatever they want. That they can force you to do things because they sleep with somebody of the same sex or a different sex, or they worship rocks or whatever. Listen, people's personal choices are of no business to the Constitution. As long as you're being treated fairly, but you're not going to get treated special, and that's really what people want. I want to be treated special as an illegal immigrant, and hell, the word says illegal. No, you don't get any rights with that. And it don't matter if you're from Mexico, from Pakistan, from Antarctica. If you ain't got a visa, that's what the law says. It ain't personal. You can be of Asian descent. You could be an islander. You could be black, white, brown, yellow, all the skin tones that human beings have, and you still should have to follow our system. Now, why the hell is that so hard? You can't make this shit up. So anyway, I have an issue with the county of Lawton and a developer. Now, for those of you who know me, know that for almost 20 years, I've been claiming the Sandestin DRI is in violation. Let me tell you something. I want to start off with what this show's about today. I am in a dispute with the county and some developers over the Sandestin issue. Can't talk about specifics of what goes on, but it's public record that I've been in mediation. I won't talk about the specifics, but I'm not there right now. And one of the reasons I'm not there right now is because people around here, and they've been empowered because the lowest level of our government sworn to an oath is our sheriff and our commissioners. Our supervisor of elections, our tax collector. These are our lowest levels of government sworn to enforce the rules given to them. And when they don't, they empower people to believe that they have an unwritten power that's not listed in the Constitution. And that's what's happened in a lot of places. And that unwritten power given to those crazy students and all that, look, like I said, if you want to be a furry, if you want to have sex with a rock, just don't do it in front of me. Just don't ask me to applaud you for it or treat you different, and don't expect me to accept you as normal, because me personally, I don't think that's normal. But you go right ahead and do it because the Constitution protects it. And it protects just what I'm doing and what Charlie Kirk and all these people that get on podcasts, what the Liberty Boys Liberty podcast does. We get out and tell you our opinion. Now, I've had public meetings where I offered people the chance to challenge what I said as being false. So that be as it may, as you know, I'm in a lawsuit with Adams Homes and in the county. And for those of you that followed it for 20 years, since 2005, county representatives have stood up, licensed engineers, Matt Carpenter, the planning director. Here's the people that are complicit for sure, who participated in covering up this crime, because August 29th, the Walton County had to answer a lawsuit, a request for admissions, and here's what they admitted to. In 2014, the county determined that the DRI is in non-compliance 9 years ago, and they have a final court order, and they've taken no action. Now, that's on 2,000 acres of non-compliance. The court said this, and the county admitted that they know it. So everybody should call Donna Johns, the chair of the BCC, and say, didn't y'all just have a massive argument about land development, and Clay lecture y'all how you could not break an ordinance? It was your ordinance. Well, this court order says you're breaking one now. It says that from 2003 to 2009, Adams Homes had to follow the DRI standards. Well, hell, that's the opposite of what they told people. There were lawsuits and testimonies from other people, not me, over the issues in Driftwood Estates and Sandestin, and the county testified that it wasn't true, and here they've testified it was. Okay? Do you see the problem? And they say that the DRI, the Sandestin DRI, and you listen to me, and I hope you're listening to me, Tom Becknell, I don't give a damn. That case is over. You've missed your dates. It's final. You're out of compliance, and nobody could deserve to have to answer to it more than you. I have paperwork that says that the owners of Sandestin knew it was in non-compliance when they bought it in 2010, and I gave it to the court in this paperwork. So what is the county going to do? And what are the repercussions? Why would a developer or anybody comply if they know the government is going to help them not comply or cover it up for them? Isn't that a conspiracy when our government lines up with somebody else to not follow the adopted rule of law? That's a problem, isn't it? I'd say it is. And it's such a problem, and it scares them so bad that I won't stop telling the truth, that they just want to make me go away, but I'm not going away. And I'm really not going away because of some of the things that's happened in the past week. And let me tell you the lovely text that I have gotten this week over my mediation, it would appear. And so let me go over those. I've gone over the request for admissions of what the county's admitted. So let's go over some other nice things I found out this week. As soon as I didn't want to do what some other people wanted me to do and walk away, I got some interesting texts. You know, I've always gotten texts, threatening texts about stuff, no big deal. But the last 2 weeks, these people have been empowered because the county, 6 or 7 weeks into a final court order, continues to ignore it in the favor of the people who would waste the county's taxpayers, pollute the bay, not follow traffic standards, and so on and so on. You remember when Brad Drake and Stan had the showdown, and Stan said that Michael Gainey and Tony Corman had fully investigated this and found that it had no merit. Now, this court order was already out. So how smart you think Michael Gainey and Tony Corman? Here's what I'll tell you. Either Stephen Schoen, who has this information too, and Tony Corman and Michael Gainey are too damn dumb to do their job, or they're corrupt. There ain't no choice. Either they don't understand basic English And a basic hillbilly understands this court order, that it's in violation. And this hillbilly understands that the admittance of Walton County that the DRI is in effect as it was since 1989, and nobody has successfully challenged or changed it. What's the problem? We lied for 20 years. We pulled permit, but nobody's going to be held accountable. Here's who should be held accountable. People who participated in the lie. Let's go down there. Right now, it's the whole current BCC, Clay, and everybody in the legal department. Any lawyer working in the legal department that knows or planning. It was Renee Bradley who knew. Pat Blackshear knew. Greg Graham knew. Chance Powell, still an employee, testifies it's not out of compliance when the engineering board has said it is, and he's using their own standard. Yeah, Matt Carpenter covered this up completely. Tony Corman and Michael Gainey and Stan Sunday, the terrible trio left over from the deputy days of Quinn, they covered all that shit up too. You can't make this shit up. And so what happens when somebody like me won't budge off his constitutional rights to keep speaking up? Because Donna, Brad Drake, and Danny and Tony have hid behind policy. They don't want to talk about it. Now they're trying not to talk about it again. They're going to file stuff on the court so they don't have to sit for deposition when these documents are what they say. They're written in plain English. Oh, Brad Drake, Oral Drake. Oh, let's do the right thing. Bullshit, Brad. Brad Drake's had this information for 2 years, and Donna's had it for 4, and it was personally explained to them. Danny Glidewell's had it for 8, so much that he voted no when he was a planning board member because he knew it was out of compliance, but he won't call the state and say, I know it is. Donna won't call the state and say it's out of compliance. Everybody continues to help the developer and the crooked staff who covered it up, and we paid for stuff for it. How many people have been in a lawsuit now that this request for admissions proves that somebody lied? We cannot have county government that ignores court orders, ordinances, and the basic rules of law, and that's what we've got now. Because if you empower to believe that these powerful, rich people are really in charge, just think about it. If the DRI has been out of compliance, or the DRI has been in effect, as the court order said, as it stands since 1989, how many millions have been borrowed in the last 10 years and told banks that this was a compliant development order, which publicly held money would require to be lent? This is dirty. So, how do they respond? So here's what I got this week. The next morning, you're a dead man walking from an unknown text number that's blocked and been bought from a burner phone. Dead man walking, a piece of shit, just like Charlie. Time's running out for you. Scum like you need to go. You have fucked, hold on, go to the next one, with the wrong people this time. Don't slip up. We know every move you make, dick sucker. While you'll play, we play. And then it goes on, and that was one day this week. And then I got another one yesterday that I'm still a dead man walking in 2025. And I don't have a clue what's about to happen to me. No clue, but I will. Signed, We the People. Well, we the people, and part of the Constitution. And the fact that I've gotten these threats to try to settle this stuff means I ain't going to settle. I'm going to trial. If you don't want to pay the damage you've done, then go to a court and let's let everybody see. Let's let the commissioners get up there and see what their staff has done. Because that's what's going to happen. Not only are we going to continue to force these kind of issues, the freedom of speech is one of the few things that we've got. We constantly argue about the Second Amendment, but there's nothing more powerful than our spoken word and the ability for us to organize ourselves into people who demand better of government. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? It says, guess you've made more friends. Clay says hi. So does Lloyd. These are not accidental texts. And I've gotten texts for years from Matt Carpenter's crazy, stupid, idiot sisters and the rest of his family, and those tramps of Walton County, good old boys. I've gotten texts for years from these people telling me what a piece of shit I am. And I promise you, I've lost no sleep while Mac sat in his garage and petted his dead cats from the freezer, is what we're told. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Every son of a bitch I said today lied. That includes Mac, Chance Powell, Charlie Cotton, everybody in engineering, everybody in planning. Christian Shell knew this and had these same documents. What does that say? It says that we need a forensic audit. But you people that want to threaten me and you're going to kill me for telling the truth, come on. 3 death threats in a week, and I'm still breathing. We should never live in fear as Americans. Force the system to do what the forefathers intended it to do, and just say no to this bullshit. But right now, all this falls on Sheriff Atkinson. It falls on the state attorney's office, who wouldn't do nothing about these violations. It falls on Mark Glass, who sent somebody from FDLE to not do an investigation. That's right. That's who it falls on, and mostly it falls right on the BCC for hiding behind policy from fact at the peril of the people who they're supposedly supposed to represent. You can't make this shit up on the Alan Osborne show, but you can unelect it. You can demand your officials indict it. You can demand people do investigations who give these threatening texts. Do you think that these same people were involved in hiding the naked woman with Trey Nick and Tony Anderson? We don't need this kind of government. We need the Constitution. And the one thing that Charlie Kirk definitely said is we as Americans had better protect Americans. Americans first. Us, the people, first. Government doesn't produce anything we need. We appointed it years ago to keep the good of order. For the good of order is why we have government. That's it, for the good of order. But they work for us. And if for the good of order requires them to be corrupt and selectively enforce laws, then the slope is so steep and slippery, we'll all fall. These are things to think about, and it's time for us to stand up. Tell our commissioners, tell our government, tell our cops, we're sick of this. Do something about it. Track these people, take them into custody. Nobody should receive personal death threats for stuff that is on civil discourse before the laws of the United States government in the state of Florida or any other state where the laws are exercised on behalf of the people. That's what we have. Evidently, it's a death threat month, and we can't be scared. I'm sure you heard Charlie's widow. We just started this. If you believe in America, if you're a godly person, if you're a good person, if you believe, if you're kind to animals, and you want to love your neighbors if they would just leave you alone, then demand that kind of America. And it starts right here at the local level. Don't be threatened. Don't live in fear. And remember, you are as strong of one. I was the only person left in this lawsuit to say, I know the law's being broken. And against all odds, the legal system agreed with me. Now our elected officials lay down on their constitutional duty, and you can't make this shit up. I'm Alan Osborne. We deserve better. I'll never live in fear a moment of my life. I never have. I never will. And for you people out there sending me death threat texts, be careful. People are taking this shit serious. And when they hunt you down and catch you for doing this shit, and talking about my children and where I live, and you know everywhere I go, don't expect any sympathy from me, because if you do stuff like this and you're looking for sympathy from me, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, and that's where you'll find it. I'm Alan Osborne, and you can't make this shit up. Y'all keep them straight out there, and write me, but don't send me death threats. Till next time, y'all keep them straight. You hear?